like, I mean, you live like in Central Cali. Like, there's no Polish community anywhere in Cali. Again, I don't know anything about Cali or Cali's geography. I'm really sore though. Kinda like te quiero. No, but you could just tell you could just tell someone that I love them, and it doesn't have to. I feel like people like I feel like people won't automatically jump to it being romantic. I'm in SoCal. Oh, you're in SoCal. And it's way more Asian and Latin immigrant community. SoCal, I know, is very Latin. I had no idea it was Asian communities as well. Been an excellent daughter. Been a credit to this family. Where I grew up, there's a lot of Polish families. There's actually, so like, not too far from where I live, like, I want to say maybe like a 3-minute drive. There's like, there's like a little community.
We outside!
There's like a little community, like, it's literally like a shopping center of like all Polish stores. And I'm assuming like that whole community right there is just Polish, but like it only extends to like a 3-block radius. That's all it does. It just extends to a 3-block radius. Oh, you know why? You know why your intro didn't fucking work, Broadway? Because I wrote your name, but I didn't write the fucking, what is it? I's or L's in the front? I have to spell your name exactly as it is. And you have those two things. All right, let me put some music on real quick. I'll get back to the game, guys. I'll get back to the game. I have returned with Chinese food. What did we get? Hold on a second. I gotta fucking get Broadway's entrance. Nah, Chinese food always hits though, bro. Chinese food always fucking hits. I haven't had it in a while because, you know, your boy out here, you know, I'm trying to get my sexy back. I'm trying to, you know, lose that weight, which I've been doing. I've been losing a lot. I don't know if it's noticeable. Have you guys noticed? Like, can you guys see it in my face? I've lost. Well, I haven't weighed myself in a while, but the last time I weighed myself, I lost 38 pounds. Nah, bro, wait. Our DMs algorithm is fucking wild, bro. I definitely cannot be showing people this shit, man. All right. Custom entrances. Wait, Masika, are you here, Mas? Did you ever send me a sound effect for your entrance when you come in? I'm on that. Oh, I need a sound effect for you. The longest it could be is 15 seconds. Please and thank you. I need that for like all my VIPs and stuff. And like honestly though, same Broadway. So the longest it could be is 15 seconds, and like you don't have to worry about like, you know, if there's curses or stuff in it. Like I don't fucking care about shit like that. Hey. Blurdy! Blurdy, I hope you're doing well. Give me 1 second while I'm adding sound effect entrances for some of the homies.
Yeah.
Hey yo, Showtime, welcome back in. How you feeling? Thank you for coming by, hanging out. Oh my shit. All right, hold on. Hold on a second.
Ay, Manuel, Manuel, ando bien ganosa, mi chiquitito. Yo sé que voy a aguantar, Manuel. Ya me estoy comiendo el cevichito con mucho camaroncito, mi Manuel. Te amo, pa. Ay, Manuel,
Yo, that shit is wild. That shit is wild, bro. Holy shit. Man, se te lo voy a aguantar, Manuel. Ya estoy listo para comerlo con... That shit is wild, bro. Okay. Hold on. Yo, the way they did you like that is crazy. Okay. I got you right now. All right, Broadway, type something, Broadway.
Manuel, Manuel, ando bien ganosa, mi chiquitito. Yo sé que voy a aguantar, Manuel. Ya me estoy comiendo el cevichito con mucho camaroncito, mi Manuel. Te amo, pa.
Okay. All right, you're set. Masika, whenever you have it, just I guess DM it to me or let me know. Yo, I appreciate that, Broadway, for the congrats on losing weight. What do you mean if you remember, Moss? Please go look for a sound right now. I'm a 4. It was productive day. And I got a bowl with some friends. Yo, let's fucking go. Don't tell me what to do. The fuck? God. Try to tell a woman to do something so that like you can make them feel special. Don't tell me what to fucking do. The fuck? Don't tell me what to do. The fuck? All right. Don't worry, you can block me, Moss. I follow you on like 5 other alt accounts. Yo, Rick. Hey, chat. What's going on? What's up, Rax? Welcome on in. All right. I'm getting back to the games. Well, would you watch some TV with me? Hey, yo, watch TV with Dad? Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah, let's watch TV for a little bit. Hop up I'm watching Garbo and Malloy. Nice. The fuck is Garbo and Malloy? Welcome back, folks. Hell of a show tonight. Say, Malloy. Yes, Garbo. Ever get the feeling that disaster's right around the corner? Sure do. Right before we start the show every night. Damn. You're superstitious, Garbo? Not anymore. What happened? I broke in every mirror I've ever owned. And now I'm lucky enough to never have to look at this mug. That was funny. Yeah, but what about the rest of us? What? That's a whopper. Coming up next, Garbo and I join a cult. Damn, don't tell me that's all I'm watching with my dad. That's crazy. Okay, I'm out. That is wild. That's the only time I spend with my dad. Yo, dad still hasn't moved this? What the fuck, bro? Damn. I missed going to the church. I should have gone to the church. I fucked up. I'm probably missing some like sketches and shit. Oh, we got hit up by the homies though. Hey, what did you end up doing tonight? Watch the third of the season of Bleak Dominion. Oh wow, I like that show. I'm watching it for the first time. Nice, I've seen like all of it. Well, don't spoil it. What episode are you on? Season 1, episode 4. Oh crap. Okay. Well, I'll talk about it later. Sounds good. Gonna get back to watching it now. Enjoy. Good night. Okay. Hey, dude, my entire muscles are going to hate you forever. 5, 6 ever Eve. What? Dude, my muscles hate me enough for the both of us. I am so angry at gravity right now. Let's kill gravity. What's gravity done for me lately? Hurt all of our muscles. Okay, I'm going to lay on my bed and die probably. I'm already dead. This is a robot head speaking. Oh my god. I know where you live and what you said. Oh my god, too scared. Okay, good night. Good night. Okay. What? It's bedtime. Hold on, because like I'm so lost right now because this is why I hate trophy hunting, because I feel like I'm missing something. Which way am I supposed to?
Oh, do you know how to know if you're going in the right direction?
No, I don't. That's why. That's
Got
why
a light.
I'm at a light.
Stop and look up.
How do you look up? Like, what button do I press? I'm pressing up.
No, dummy, you look up.
Me look up like this?
As in you, Rick.
I'm looking. Moss,
On
what
the
are you?
corner of the screen. I can't stand you.
So you're talking about that light, the orange light on the top left? That light?
Yes.
Oh. She fucking said, I can't stand you. Okay. Okay. That's a really nice moon, by the way. Wait, but now there's... Okay, well, I'm gonna come back to that.
You're going the wrong
I
way.
know I'm going the wrong way. I want to see if there's other lights I could turn on here. I don't know if there's a... No, look. Look at the screen.
You don't know anything.
The screen is telling... There's a light right there,
Remember
Maz.
him differently, chat.
Fucking... There's a light right there. What the fuck is that? What?
You're
That's
so difficult.
That's a fucking... That's a light. That's a fucking light glowing right there.
IT wasn't the first light.
This is what I mean about I don't want to miss stuff. So I'm gonna meet people that play instruments. Okay, I get that now. I'm not difficult, Mas.
It could also be 2 exclamation marks, to be fair.
I'm not difficult, all right? I'm combative. I'm combative like you. Oh, look, there's a light right there. There we go. You could ask that question. You could put up a, you know what? Nah, actually, don't put up a poll. I don't think I'm difficult. Everybody's just gonna agree with you though because they're fucking Team Masika. I don't know fucking why. Damn, did I just fuck that up?
You literally looked up IRL and not on the screen, like WTFLMFAO.
Cause you were like, you as in you, Rick. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm not difficult. Ah, you're such a fucking hater. No, Showtime, Showtime, no, no, show. Yo, is there a trophy if I get all the musical notes right without fucking up? Yeah, I'm working today if you want to say hello. Yep, that's my life right there. Yo, she did a complete 180, man. She switched up on me. Morning. I'm somehow even more sore. This is bullshit. I'm working today. Angus is out of town and I'm lonely. Okay, bye. Sincerely, Gregory. Okay. What are you even thinking about in there? She changed too, because she went from hating the bird to like not really hating the bird. Ugh. Good morning. Did you feel it last night? What? There was a big sinkhole 2 streets over. Oh, are we still getting those? I don't think those ever really gonna go away. Swampy ground and so forth and on a floodplain. Oh, weird. I don't want you over there nosing around it. I guarantee you I won't. I have seen sinkholes. No interest at all? Mom, they're just holes in the ground. Get back to me when one like swallows a house or something. We'll go see it together if that happens. Deal. So what'd you do last night? Hung out with Greg. What'd you do? Went to the grocery store. That sounds exciting. Get anything special? Oh boy, sure did. Well, stop by the church if you're in the area. Will do, Mom. See ya. Bye, sweetie. Now that you've been home for a few days, yep. Have you thought about getting a Well, gotta go, Mom. Bye, sweetie. Okay. Oh, she's humming now. She doesn't do anything. Yeah, I've been stargazing, but I've been stargazing during the daytime. Yo, Mas, did I tell you that I beat the? Did I tell you that I beat the last boss in that game? Yeah, get good, Mas. Get fucking good. Hey, yo, homie, May Borowski, Selmers. Now we all know how important it is to look our best. What? Our appearance is the first and sometimes last impression we make. Selmers, did you join a cult? Lucky for you, I happen to be a licensed dealer. Oh, okay. Of the Sylvam family of products. Selmers, I don't have any money. Oh, okay. Are you giving that pitch to everyone? It's horrible, isn't it? I did a video seminar and that's what the woman said. Did she sell anything? Yeah, her neighbor was really appreciative. Sorry. Everyone was smiling and they just kept laughing. Just smiling and laughing and looking at hand lotions. We can just smile and laugh if you want. Nah. Want to hear a poem? Yeah, sure. Sometimes I think and start to sing. Oh no, there's more. Sorry. Then I remember it's October. What the fuck? October. I combine my 2 favorite months. Fall is really nice. It's the best. Days are gonna start getting shorter soon. It makes me sad. I like it. I love the fall, but I hate the dark. I like it. sure do. I seen a raccoon. Where? Up in Towny Sentry. He's a big un. Cool. And that's it. Okay. My cat don't like folks on the porch. This guy always wants to just kick people off the porch. At least I didn't look up IRL when I'm playing a game and someone gives me advice. You literally said, let me go back up to what you said. You literally said, no, dummy, you look up, as in you, Rick. What the fuck? What in the actual fuck does that, what is that supposed to mean? Yes, I was trying to get May to look up, but like not her head per se. Like I was trying to move the screen up to see if I could see a light. I don't know what you want me to say, Moss. I'm defeated. I'm defeated, Moss. Oh yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah, it did get mailed. It did get mailed. I gotta get me some flour for it now. So right now I've just been like I've been smoking on this. It's Purple Kush. Oh, my nails look nice. My nails look nice. But yes. Yeah, no, my cuticles could definitely use fucking work. I never go to the nail salon though. I haven't gotten a pedicure in a long time. I got to do that. I got to get me a pedicure. And then after that, I get a manicure. They push my cuticles back. My cuticles grow out so fast. But at least I don't have like no gunk under my nails and stuff, you know? Oil them with vitamin E. Damn, I didn't even know that. I just started using vitamins, Moss. I started using K2 and vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 to lower my cortisol levels. I have to find a good multivitamin though that has vitamin C in it to help me with like inflammation. And other than that, I guess I gotta start getting vitamin E now to rub on my fucking cuticles. Yeah, I just started using vitamins like maybe like 2.5 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, chat, man. I've been feeling good, man. I'm changing what I ate, what I've been eating and stuff. I've been feeling good. Oh, I gotta feed them pretzels again. Rainy day, huh? But not down here. You kids have your own little secret hideout down here, huh? Whatever. When I was a kid, literally nobody cares. Well, whatever. Damn. Okay then. Damn, they just shut her up like that? Well, damn. I appreciate that, Brody. Thank you so much, man. I know this isn't my typical, like, you know, I know this isn't the typical shit that I stream, but I wanted to do something for mental health. By the way, Mas, these are like my two least favorite characters in the game. I don't know what this whole smelter shit, what the fuck this whole smelters thing is. But it's important in the end. Oh shit. Every time I talk to them, all they do is like, smelters, smelters, have you hit smelters? I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, I gotta go back. Oh, here's a man who loves statues. So get a lot of people get statues themselves. We're secure in ourselves. We don't need statues to make us feel better. I had that make me real tall. Hey, what are you doing outside my window? I don't know. Please go away. What you doing? Newspaper. It's in the news. Sinkhole over Crosstown. Oof. One of these days, whole town's gonna get swallowed up. Okay. The homie works here. Oh no, he's not. Oh, he's out of town. Oh, they're listening to R&B music because they got a broken heart. Have you ever been swallowed? Swallowed. Yo, Funky, if you don't mind, can I have that sound effect? So I can put it in chat? Ever been swallowed? Hey, Bear. Am I pronouncing her name wrong? Like, my name is May. Is her name Bay? No, because Bay is Bay A-E, right? It's Bear, right? Her name is Bear. Hey, May. How's it going? Got a load of rock salt to boo. Came in early this year. And like a crap load of snow shovels. Usually the distro place doesn't goof up like this. Maybe it runs by Weather Wizards? Yeah, that's not a bad theory. So what's up? Wanna hang out tonight? I'm working. If you wanna like come along, I was thinking we'd go play putt-putt out in the Hunwick. May, that's actually not a bad idea. But sorry, got work. Aw, geez, what is even the point? Paychecks, rent, food, medicine, that kind of thing. So do you want to come along or not? I feel like if I hang out, then I'm gonna miss the chance to go to the church again. Can I say I have a lot to do today and then come back to her? That's what I don't. Guys, do we want to hang out with Masika today? Yes or no? Wait, have you been agreeing from the get-go with the friends? Wait, what do you mean from the get-go? Not from the get-go. Like, the first friend that I hung out with was just now with Greg. Greg was the first one I hung out with. That was my first hangout session with a friend. Oh, see, that's why when I hung out with Greg, I felt like I missed the church. Oh, so I could come back. No, I saw the rat babies. I already saw the rat babies.
I have found and sent you the sound.
Swallowed. You haven't been swallowed. I gotta go feed the rat babies, actually. Hey, rat babies. You ever been swallowed? Yeah, I fed them once already. I fed them pretzels. Moss, what do you think I am? Like, do you think I cannot take care of a child? I took care of a child for like 10 years, Moss. Plus, I still take care of myself every damn day. Oh my god, these flowers are like fake ass flowers. All right, my little miracle. Oh shit, wait, there's more than two? Is there a third one? It looked like there was. Oh, there's a third one. Oh, are you need more food? Yes, you do. Okay. We gotta get more comida. Maybe if Moss had cooked us more pierogies.
There's a third one was my nickname in college.
That is crazy. I was gonna say if Moss had cooked us more pierogies, maybe we would have had enough food. Can I feed them again today? My babies are all fed. Mama don't need to steal today. Oh, okay. So it actually stops you. All right. So then, I guess. Oh, shit. I don't want to keep bothering Masika. But is there something I could do with this fucking yarn ball? I feel like there's something to do here. Nothing. Just a distraction. You ever been swallowed up? Swallowed. Hey. What's up, Moss?
Hey Rick, have you spun the windmills?
I never even saw a windmill. Hey. Gonna sit if that's cool.
You just passed one.
Oh, the little small ones? No, I've never spun them. I never have spun them. What you doing? Drawing. Okay, what you drawing? You know, how in a movie, like a knife will go through someone's eye. Whoa, boy, do I ever. I'm like designing an effect and makeup for that. I'm working on a horror movie. You're gonna make a horror movie? I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's a rat. Okay, maybe I'm not making it yet, but I mean, someday I could like direct it and write it and do the makeup. I have a really good scream too. Really. I want to like go to horror movie school. They have those? Yeah, I already know how to make fake blood and body parts. Sorry, it's probably boring. Oh wait, is he the one that dropped the? Is he the one that dropped the arm by the diner? I know like all of them. Body parts, horror movies, everyone, a lot of them. Cool, 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 cool. All right, I gotta go. See ya later. He's 15. He's definitely 15, but like I found the body part. I found the arm like on the second day. He's supposed to be weather stations. Pioneer Scouts made them when they weren't playing football or learning about manhood. These are the manliest of miniature windmills for sure. Oh, how am I supposed to spin it? Okay, I saw that little package. Where did it go though? Fuck me. BRB. Okay, Moss. You will be missed. The cat doesn't do anything. I love rainy days. I don't mind rainy days. Rainy days are chill. All right, this is my first time ever at the church. Who pooted? Oh, what happened? So you're more of a drifter. Yeah, but it's temporary. Of course, well, we just wanted to see if you're okay up here. Yeah, Pastor Kate has been very kind. Mind if we see your setup here? Oh, what do you think about Molly? It's fine. Haha, all right, Bruce. Yeah. How are you finding Possum Springs? Nice place, nice people. How long you been in Thank you so much, Crow. Oh man, yeah. A lot of people, a lot of people were hitting me up and they were like, "Yo, doesn't he say it's over 9,000?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was a translation in the anime. Like the actual thing says over 8,000, but thank you so much, Crow." I love that, Crow. New ink? Yeah. I got Vegeta saying it's over 9,000 on my arm, and then on this side I've got a manga panel of Majin Buu being upset. You can't really see them right now because I've got this thing that's supposed to help my skin heal faster on it. So there's a lot of like blood and ink and stuff all in there right now. But it's gonna look good in a fast couple of days. Yeah, this is my first time having the second skin for the tattoos, and it's so good. I fucking love it. I love the second skin. Because when I got my upper arm tattoo here, it was cellophane wrap, and it sucked too because like the cellophane had to be like wrapped around under my armpit and stuff, so like it would get mad, like it would just feel mad, weird and uncomfortable. I always wanted to climb the water tower, but then that one kid died doing that. Whatever. I'll get to it. Probably see clear brittle from here. Oh, I don't want to go yet. I gotta go into the church first. Let me go to the church first. Well, let me finish my conversation with you. Hello, I'm May Borowski. Hey, I'm Bruce. I don't say much. That's fine. I talk a lot. But I can like not. Alright, we got a new friend though. Ooh, Crow, whenever you're sub to me, you can add the exclamation marks to that too. I am the exclamation mark of Team Nexus. Okay, I don't know what to do here. Hey, who pooted? Is this me inside the church? There's my mama. Hey, Mom. Hey, sweetie. I completely forgot where this sanctuary is. You passed the door on your way here. Oh, I thought those were locked. They're locked sometimes. All doors are locked sometimes. Not like saloon doors. Cowboys just walk in and out. That's very rude. The Old West was a very rude time. Howdy, partner. I say. This is powerful ride. Oh wait, powerful rude. That's like a southern gentleman. He's classing the place up. My bestie still uses cellophane because it's cheaper. I mean, so like, so apparently with these like with these second skin things is if for some reason, like, you know, if for some reason there's like a leak in it, right? Like if blood or plasma, whatever you want to call it, starts coming out from like either the bottom or the top, you have to replace them. So he only gave me the one, right? Which is what I have right now. And he said that it should last 5 days, which is cool. But if for whatever reason, like, you know, if for whatever reason blood or plasma comes out from either the sides or the top or the bottom, then I could just, like, you know, drive out to him and he'll give me, and, you know, he'll replace them. So there's that. But he did say this too, like, if for whatever reason I had to take this off, and if for whatever reason I had to take this off, I could just, you know, I would do it in the shower, take it off, clean off the tattoo really good, and then I could apply cellophane over it after that. So it's either or. Cellophane isn't necessarily bad. You know what I mean? It's not bad. Hello. You're Candy's daughter, right? Oh, that's my mom. My mom's name is Candy? Yep. Who are you? Kate, but most people call me Pastor K. You're new here, right? 16 months, something like that. Oh, new to me at least. Hello. Do me a favor. Take that last hello and give it to Bruce. Oh yeah, I met that guy. Oh good. Bruce is new to our community. Looks like he's been in the woods for a while. Only a few weeks. Man, she really said only a few weeks. But being in the woods isn't really the same as being in the community. True. Is he cold at night? Working on it. Hey again. Hey. Your mom will be pretty happy you're here. Oh, I don't know it. You're not a churchgoer? Big fan of sleeping in? I can't remember the last time I slept in. Might have been last Saturday. That's not long ago. It's been a very long week. Same, honestly. When did you stop coming? When my mom stopped making me. When I was like 15 or so. Why? I don't know. All the sitting and the standing. Sing this now, feel this thing now. Well, the feelings are more suggestions. Doesn't feel like it. Well, I hope you maybe come some Sunday. Yeah, I guess. I haven't seen you preach. Oh wow, preach. kind of has a bad ring to it, huh? Talk? That works. Hey, listen. You know, if you ever want to talk or have any questions, sure, you can always talk to me. It's kind of like my job in description. Okay. Candy can be my mommy too, except hello. Yeah, I'm probably going to bed early. What time is it though right now? 10:31. Have you ever been swallowed? I fucking love that. I saw the DMs, Funk. Thank you. Oh man, y'all active right now on oh yeah, hella active in IG right now. Damn, I just saw Japanese 7-Eleven is coming to the United States. I don't know what that means, but my sister seems to be very excited about that. Does anybody know what that means? Japanese 7-Eleven? Wait, is this common knowledge? Like, does everybody know this? Because I never knew this. Yeah, my sister really... I mean, my sister's been to Japan. Japanese 7-Eleven is coming to America. It was published in the Wall Street Journal, so it's legit. Yo, Steel! Thank you so much, Brody. Steel, how's your stream? You're playing Warframe? Damn, I've never played Warframe, so I don't know what Warframe is about, but what I've been playing is the First Descendants, which I know you were playing and you have a few trophies left, so is that why you jumped into Warframe? Because you just finished First Descendants? So do I go to? Let me check out Greg. I haven't been. Oh, I haven't hung out with Greg. I mean, I did hang out with Greg. I just haven't spoken to Greg. Oh, okay, understood, Steel. How you liking it, man? Are you enjoying it? It looks so sad and empty when we're not playing in it. Yeah, I like it. Used to play back in 2013 when it was in beta. It changed so much since then, so much more content. Yo, what is your honest assessment of First Descendants? Like, do you think that game has longevity? Zelda? What happened? It could have longevity if they get more content added and the drop rates get fixed. Right now, there's too much of an endgame grind for parts needed to unlock characters and weapons. Was thinking about going to jail. What the fuck? I think I could break out. Maybe I should like test my skills of escape. I feel like the risk is bigger than any reward possible. I think I've explored everything, so I might as well just hang out with Greg. Okay, we're about to do more crimes. No, it's not. It's not. It's not so much that Twitch be twitching. It's more so like, I guess people who subbed later in the month. You get what I mean? Like, I don't know, cause for over here for me it says that you're tier 3 sub.
Hey, look!
That's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Beautiful. Oh.
That's the face I make when I'm on the train, so PPL leave me alone.
I mean, that's valid. Thank you for the lurk, Funk. I was only out for 5 seconds.
Ah,
That's a wild ass taste, right? Like, yo, I taste pennies. Yo, Blurty, when did you play this game? And did you also play Fran Bow? 'Cause that's another game we're gonna play. Oh, no shit, Blurty. That's what's up. Yo, not I could taste my tooth fillings. No, I never got to figure out what the trophies meant, Steel. Yeah, I guess I have to do, apparently to get the platinum for this game, you have to do 3 playthroughs or 4 playthroughs. You gotta do 4 playthroughs.
Steel Revolution gifted a tier 1 subscription to Bloodussie.
Thank you so much, Steel. I appreciate you, bro. Flash, welcome on in, buddy. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Yeah, but Blurry, I don't know what else to do. They seem to be joined, but like not stopping. Yeah, I was gonna say I never built a scarecrow with a screwdriver before. I'm also pretty tired too, that's why I don't think I can think straight. I don't know what to do, guys. I got like a weapon. And maybe I don't use a weapon. Maybe I just use this. Oh, but this looks like alcohol. So what do I do? Do I do alcohol and the knife? Like, it doesn't give me an option to end this. I don't know what he's up to. I really don't know what he's up to. I'm curious about the robot in the upper right. Oh, this one? God, I'm fucking tired. Yo, I feel like such a dick, bro.
We're frying it too? What else? What are we gonna do? You move mountains.
You move mountain. Carly, what's going on, beautiful? How you doing? Holy shit, guys. I feel like such a dick. Oh my god, Carly, keep calling me baby. Oh my, Carly! It's going well though. Although you literally just missed me doing such a, I feel like such a dick. I got saved by Steel. I got saved by Steel because I would have been there for like another half an hour, Steel, if it wasn't like, yo, Steel's like, yo, I'm kind of curious about the robot on the top right. I wasn't even fucking thinking about that. I thought that was just some type of like, I thought that was just some type of like fucking, I don't know, icon or something, because I was in a robot builder. I don't know. You just got home? Yo, damn, you just got, oh shit, what happened? We had another date tonight? What? You had another date tonight, Carly? Also, by the way, guys, I mean, I haven't seen any spoilers yet, but the Deadpool versus Deadpool Wolverine movie is supposed to be fucking the tits. I'm just saying. That Deadpool Wolverine movie looking fire. From what everybody's telling me. Possibly Carly. Carly, you let that man know. Carly, you let that man know he has about 20 days to lock you down, Carly. Let that man know he has about 20 days, or else I'm up. Movie in 10 years. Damn. And yo, I heard they did a lot of like they did a lot of like false leaks to hide to hide like the real cameos that are actually in the fucking movie. So I'm actually really excited about that. Like I want to know who all is in the movie. The 20 days, Carly. Let him know. Let him know. You know what, Carly? You could clip this and you could send it to him. You let him know he got 20 days. Cause come Chicago, you're gonna be like, yo, hey baby, how's it going? I'm gonna shoot my Yo, what's with this guy and doing all these fucking crimes, bro? So I was thinking about how to use that for like good. So I thought I'd bring this here for Angus. That's beautiful, dude. I'm sure he'll love it. I hope so. I want to push the button. Let me push the button. Let me do it. Dude, it's the least I could do. Well, my best friend from back from the dead. Pizza party next time I die and come back. Dude, that's such a deal. Sweet. Be gay, do crimes, duh. Yeah, I didn't know that. I think I see it. Oh. Push it to peen. Push it to peen. Gonna big bag some leftover pastas? Fucking get it, girl. Get those gains, Carly. It lives. Oh shit, I'm actually responsive. That's Paw Paw. Hey, Paw Pop. Are we gonna watch shows again? How's work? You know, better than the Glass Factory. Is it? I've mined, I've ran machines, but now I get to slice steaks. Oh, that sounds so fucking good, actually. And hock salamis. Oh my god. I mean, it's easier on the back, that's for sure. But like, do you like it? I like having a paycheck. Fair. Paychecks, the sweetest meats of all time. Hey, yo, what'd you do tonight? Oh, you know,
Meat.
stuff. Tired. Feel like I just did a day's work. You know, there are places you can get paid for work these days. Oh, really? Yeah, they call it working. Huh. You kids with your slang. Slang you could pick up at work. I mean, that's true. Okay, yes, point made. What about those boxes that I asked about in the crawl space? I'm thinking about it. Watch some TV with me? We're a little bit. Perfect time. Garbo Malloy is starting. This fucking Garbo Malloy. You know we like to get political here. Gotta do it. Gotta. You hear about this new law on the books? Pirating and moving online. You know about that? I do. Punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Wow. And here, I've been trying to get in the hard way. He has, folks. Wonder if pirating a movie about first degree murder earns you more prison respect than one about grand larceny. Hey, Malloy, you know what I think about that law? What, Garbo? That's a whopper. Why is that up? Coming up next, stupid sandwiches. Okay. That's a whopper. There's a lot of sus things about this game, Carly. So many sus things. Oh, let me hit up the homies with the late night texts. Yo, I even got a text from Angus. Hold up. Hey, mate, you awake? Oh, damn. I just got the yo, you awake text mad late at night. Sure am. What's up? Nothing. Watching TV. What are you watching? The True Crime Show. Is it any good? No, the reenactments are terrible. But if they were good, I'd like to actually feel bad for them. As it stands, it's just like bad local commercial actors pretending to murder or be murdered. I love those shows. They're the best. Okay. Hey, punk. Are you still electric? No, I think it's gone now. Hold on, let me touch something metal. Okay, I touched my futon frame. We're good. Good work, Dr. Science. Does Angus like the robot? I think so. He's just kind of looking at it. Hold on, I'll ask him. Okay, he says to say thank you. So I think that means he likes it. All right, duder, I'm turning in. Me too. See you later. Oh, Angus. Hey, mate. Are you all right? I was afraid you were really hurt. And you left so quickly. I'm good, big guy. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Oh, I appreciate it. Try not to almost die anymore tonight. No promises. Hoi. Hoi. No, that was a she, Carly. She said, yo, you up? Wait, what the fuck just happened to everything? Okay, wait. I'm not understanding this. Okay, so I go in here. This takes me somewhere else. Oh shit. Do she got a booty? I mean, she looked like an alligator, so I don't know if she got the booty. You might have to give her some of that big back pasta that you're having so she can get some gains. What kind of pasta is it, by the way? You know me, I love talking about food, girl. You fucking know me. I had pasta yesterday for the first time in a while. I had me penne alla bacca with crumbled sausage, chipotle chicken fucking linguine. Hold on a second. Ain't no way, Carly, fucking with me right now, because I saw this. Hold on a second. No, that was a different. That's a different pasta. I'm gonna share some dope shit with you right now. Hold on, Carly. Check your IG when you can. Share you a little bit of big back pasta. We could discuss it in detail some other day, but yo, chipotle chicken linguine sounds fucking fire though. I would suck that pasta out of someone's ass.
Damn!
If anyone says otherwise, you're fucking lying. Am I running on water? Oh, I got one more light. there's something up there. A giant squirrel? Hey, I'm at work all day. Just saying, if you want to say hello, I'm here to be helloed at. Hey, yo. Update, the robot smells a little weird. Not sure what we missed there. Anyways, hey, yo, boyo. At work all day. Very bored. Work sucks. Crap Falcon more like. Okay, Dad still hasn't moved that. Bro, I honestly don't know, man. I really don't know. You know what I've noticed? Like, I feel like for someone that's 20 years old, right? She should be about the size of her mother, right? You know what I mean? Like, at 20 years old, I feel like you've grown as much as you could grow.
Oh my god!
Yo!
Calm down!
I know today was a special
It's
day.
time to get rad.
Welcome on in, radicals. Can we spend the night in your woods? Oh my god, let me first like trim my woods a little bit, and then once I'm done trimming my woods, you guys can spend the night. For the first time, Crow. For the first time, Crow. I I kind of, I want to, for the first time, I kind of want to be like respectful, and I don't want to have you going through the woods. But like, once I get comfortable with you, then you're going to have to explore the whole forest, front and back, if you know what I'm saying. Can you trim them so they remind me of the Lost Woods from Zelda? God damn it, Dennis! I think the star of the show today was Michelle. How was Michelle Plays Games? Encounter the nature beast. Zom. I don't know. Have you guys ever heard Zom's like throat work? I don't know how familiar you guys are with Zom's game, but Zom has a pretty solid throw game. She liked Yoshi's Island a lot. Today had some chaos too, though. Whoa, what was the chaos?
Yeah.
Aside from the sex from Black Magic. Yeah, what's up, Black Magic? Welcome on in, Queen. May Borowski. Oh shit, good for you guys. Let's fucking go. This cute looking game. Have you ever played a game? I'm sure you've seen other people play games like Little Misfortune. So there are these like cutesy drawn looking games that tackle like dark themes and stuff. That's what Night in the Woods is. It's about this game. It's about this girl, May, who I am right there, the one that has the word yep up on her head. You know what I mean? And she drops out of college, comes back home, and she realizes that the 2 years that she's away from home, a lot of shit has changed. And not in the good way. So that's what that's what we're dealing with right now. Michelle had to play with the Tails hat on. Oh my god. Was she okay? Are you able to see through that Tails hat? And thank you so much for the raid, Dennis. Seriously, man. Thank you guys. I don't know if you guys voted on it or whatnot, but thank you guys for sending the homies over, man. Yeah, so Black Magic, I'm doing something this week. Well, not so much this week. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. Follows are anonymous, so if you want to stay in the shadows, you're more than welcome. But if you say hi, we say hi back. So what I'm doing this, I don't want to say this next week because this game is about to take me like 2 whole ass streams to finish. But what I'm doing for like the next few streams is I'm doing like this little mental health journey. And I'm going to be playing, well, I started off with this game, Night in the Woods. After Night in the Woods, I'm going to be playing Little Misfortune because I've never played Little Misfortune, but I've seen others play it. And then I'm going to play a third game called Fran Bow. It looks like this. This is Fran Bow. And Fran Bow, like the other 2 games, tackles themes like blood and gore, partial nudity, sexual themes, use of drugs, and violence. And so we're gonna go ahead and do that. This looks like it has a more spooky tone to it.
Yeah.
So this looks like it's more on the spooky end. Yo, Ecstasy, what's up, man? Welcome on in. It's hanging, Brody. It's been a minute, man. How you been, man? Where you been at? So that's Franbo. And yeah, and since I've been playing these games, I've been suggested other games, but I'm not gonna do them like, I'm not gonna do them all consecutively because I don't want to just constantly hit people with like traumatic themes and whatnot. So we're gonna do those 3 games, and then we're gonna get back to trying to platinum Crash, and whatever other fun stuff there is to do, so on and so forth. Maybe like bi-monthly. Not so much monthly, but maybe bi-monthly. Come to hunt some dusk stars? Definitely. Come have a look. Yo, I'm doing good. Working, getting life straightened up, and here we are. Yo, I love that for you though, bro. I feel like the last time you were in here was like around... maybe like around March or something. But I hope all is well with you, man. I really do. No, I'm glad I'm doing it now, honestly, Steel, because like during the month of June, I feel like everyone was tackling the topic. You know what I mean? Maybe not playing games so much, but it was being spoken of. You know what I mean? So like, I just feel like if you give people too much of something, it's not good. You get what I'm saying? So like now, now that like, the talk of mental health has like, I guess, I don't want to say like diminished, because I just feel like everyone still talks about it. I mean, we talk about it in here all the time. We just don't put an emphasis on the game, on the games that much. So yeah, I'm very happy with like playing it right now. Exactly. But like, not only that too though, like, how do I say this? And not to sound rude or get canceled, but like, during months like that, because I feel like there's a mental health month, like in several different months. Like there's men's mental health, and then you have, just the regular mental health month, women's mental health, LGBT mental health. So like there's several different mental health months. And my thing is, like you said, if there's too many chefs in the kitchen, and they're all cooking the same meal, it's kind of good to be the one kitchen that's cooking something else different. You know what I mean? New career, so now working nights, and I think it was around that time I was in here. Yeah. I appreciate you guys. I know I may not like again, I always say this all the time. I'm not necessarily the most like, I'm not your conventional wholesome streamer. Let's put it that way. I'm not your conventional wholesome streamer. Like over here, we believe that you can still be horny and wholesome. You know what I mean? But I know on Tuesday when we first started this, and Chef Devins, who's like a pillar to this community, like he's like a big community member here. He came in asking a serious mental health question, and we were able to sit there and just talk and spit bars. You know what I mean? I actually loved how that stream started out. I wish more people were in the stream at that time so that they could have like heard. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you know what? I could make that a highlight. I could definitely make that a highlight. And boneless cookies is bad for our mental health, Crow. So that's kind of like the opposite of what we're trying to sell here. Just saying. Also, Zom, I didn't say hi to you properly. I'm sorry. I thought the war was over. I thought so too, Steel. I have one question and might not like the answer, but what happened to the crew? What crew? What do you mean what happened to the crew? Everybody's still around. It's just that everybody's got their like own things going on right now. Like I know Lauren Mars, you know, she all booed up. She's doing her thing. She's getting ready for a move here in September and whatnot. Like, I mean, everybody's still around. They just, you know, like not everybody comes. I mean, let's put it this way, man. Like when you came around a lot, Ecstasy, that was like during the height of the pandemic. So everybody was stuck at home and doing things. Now everybody's out, you know, they're doing their stuff. Mental health is no joke, and I kind of hate how today's society has turned it into a quirk. You know what? I fucking love that hot take, Rat Queen. I love that fucking hot take. In the Dancord? I'll check it out. I'll check it right now, Critical, while we're, you know, talking and stuff. That's actually an excellent fucking hot take. Oh, hey, yo. Hold up, Crit. Damn. Shit. Hold up. Oh, shit. Damn, that was a dope ass hot take. Like I ain't even mad about that. That was a dope ass hot take, Rat Queen. And I know right now you're really struggling with some shit. So I know that comes from like your heart. I know that comes from a place of like, you know, you really felt that. Settings, channel, feature content. Okay. Settings, channel. Yo. Team Obscura. I fucking love that name. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Oh, I hear myself, who also hears themselves.